Good day, I'm Samantha Allen and this is your JIS News for Monday, April 22. The Finance Minister says government is determined to go after tax dodgers to help shore up its revenue plan for funding the 2013-2014 budget. During his post-budget press conference on Friday, Minister Phillips said the upcoming changes would yield positive results.
It will involve legislative changes and greater powers for the tax authorities to go after the taxes due from and secure it from the persons from whom those taxes are due.
The aim is also to encourage a culture of tax compliance as Tax Administration Jamaica continues to develop measures to make tax payment and collection easier. More online tax payment options are scheduled to come on stream and more persons will be brought into the tax net.
And over time, we hope to be able to reduce rates of taxation subject to the inflows of revenue being sustained.
The general consumption tax rate was reduced by 1 percentage point to 16.5% in the last financial year. And even though Jamaica has met all the prior actions required by the International Monetary Fund for a new extended fund agreement, the Finance Minister is asserting that the challenge now is to maintain the budget and achieve the required targets.
It's not going to be easy to ensure that we meet the program targets in the extended fund facility agreement and to ensure that all the different elements of the public sector do their bit to keep the economy in motion and in fact to increase the rev it up.
The minister is calling on private investors and businesses to do what's necessary to help the economy grow and develop. In the meantime, the Minister of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining, Philip Paulwell, will be making his contribution to the budget debate on April 24, along with the opposition spokesperson on Tourism and Travel Service Development, Edmund Bartlett. Before that, the opposition spokesman on Finance, Audley Shaw, will make his presentation on Tuesday. This week's presentations close out with the opposition leader Andrew Holness on Thursday. The debate continues next week with the Prime Minister on April 30, before Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips closes the debate on May 1. The Agriculture and Fisheries Ministry is looking to expand the cultivation of sorghum, a crop currently being tested as a substitute grain for animal feed. Currently, approximately 60% of the corn that's used in feedstock is imported, creating the need for a local substitute. Agriculture Minister Roger Clark says he's pleased with the impact that the growing of sorghum locally will have on the importation of grains for animal feed. He was speaking Friday at the harvesting of the first batch of sorghum in Hill Run, St. Catherine.
This was just an experimental plot. I think it's about 17 acres, but the yield has been significant in terms of international standards, and it's just the beginning.
Corporate Affairs Manager of CB Group, which is producing the experimental plot, Dr. Keith Amiel, says the potential is huge.
The countries that have been feeding us have 7 months growing seasons. New Zealand, the United States and all that. Jamaica has 365 days a year growing season. So everything they do once, we can do twice.
Sorghum is adaptable to dry climate and takes 6 months to reach the maturity stage. Plans are in place to have the crop grown on some 1,700 acres of land at Amity Hall, St. Thomas, on one of the 9 agri-parks to be developed across the island, with another 150 acres at Hill Run, St. Catherine. And finally, the Norman Manley International Airport, the NMIA, took steps last Thursday to make sure its emergency response mechanism meets national and international standards. A full-scale emergency simulation exercise was carried out at NMIA's East Airfield in line with requirements from both the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority and the International Civil Aviation Organization.
It is a very critical and important part of our emergency preparedness. We use it for 2 things. One is to validate our emergency plan, to show that the plan that we have can work, or if we need to do any improvement to it.
The airport emergency response operation also serves as a useful training initiative. Last week's exercise involved a simulated aircraft accident with safety and security hazard elements, to which there was a multi-agency response, including the fire brigade, police and health officials. It was funded mainly by the NMIA budget, with some support from private sector companies. Currently, the Norman Manley International Airport